The oceans cover 71% of the planet's surface and can present all kinds of dangers to humans. Sure, there are great white sharks, giant squid, and maybe even the kraken, but have you ever heard of square waves or something called water eddies like tornadoes? Ready? We are about to explore some of the most dangerous ocean phenomena. First, we will become more familiar with the most violent storms on Earth, tropical cyclones. Depending on where they form, tropical cyclones are known as hurricanes, typhoons, or simply and chronically. By definition, a cyclone tropical is a rapidly rotating storm characterized by a low-pressure center, extremely strong winds, and a spiral arrangement of hoses that produce huge amounts of rain. NASA huge engines that use warm, moist air as fuel need that warm air. That's why generally form near the equator. They are created when warm air rises to a high height above the ocean surface, eventually forming rain clouds, and the cause of low pressure air that forms below the warm air surrounding this area then begins to move towards the rising area. Again, this cycle continues, and the entire system formed continues to spin and grow, fed by the heat of the ocean and the water that evaporates from the surface. Once the system, but I think, reaches a speed of about 119 kilometers per hour or more, are what we call Category 5. Or catastrophic storms. Some of them cause damage impossible to measure. One of Hurricane Katrina, a Category 5 storm that in 2005 hit Florida, Louisiana. The most affected was the city of New Orleans. Monetary costs generated at $40 billion in insured damages and about $108 billion in total. Low coastal areas are the most vulnerable places. Luckily for us, cyclones can only occur for 7 months of the year. Starting with our next dangerous ocean phenomenon, has the official name of storm surges, discovered by sailors for centuries. Killer waves have been accepted as a real phenomenon by the scientific community relatively recently. National Oceanic Administration and stormy atmos like ocean waves, what are at least twice the size of all the waves in the area, are very unpredictable, and along with mermaids or big monsters or other waves, until 50 years ago the knowledge we had about how ocean waves work led researchers to believe that these giant waves created by storms are a part of maritime folklore along with mermaids or sea monsters. We are talking here about walls of water that rise to heights of 20 m with enough force to capsize a cargo ship and form one. Researchers still working on this problem. All we know for sure lead to the merge of normal waves, thus creating a single killer wave that destroys everything in its path. With the help of satellite technology, we know that these giant waves occur much more often than we thought in the past. Even in September 2019, some huge waves of 30 m high were formed in Cabot Strait in Newfoundland, Canada. The largest of them was estimated to have reached a height of 33 m in popular culture or in movies. So this topic was developed in the famous 1972 Poseidon adventure film and The Perfect Storm from the year 2000. Both films were based on novels. One of the most famous paintings in the world is The Great Wave from Canada by the artist Huge are present, and in the musical art there is a song from 1975 by Cordon Live Food called The Wreck of Edmund Feed S.A. submerged due to killer waves. Not from the oceans but from the upper lake in North America. Follows mainly from simplifying a miles from is a very large and very powerful eddy of water. These gigantic eddy currents are created when two opposing currents between collision, causing the violent vortex. Most vortexes are not very strong or very dangerous. However, when these phenomena can become rotating death traps, it has the power to pull surface objects like ships into it and is called the vortex. The interesting part about this moves constantly at a speed of about 18 kilometers per hour, and the British Navy officially considers it very dangerous because objects have also been reported, and at depths of 260 m the vortex is considered the m8 tons of the world. You can hear it from a distance of 16 kilometers off the coast of Norway. There is a whole system of marine eddies. Unusual shapes of the ocean floor combined with strong tides are the main causes of these families of eddies. One of them, called Milestone, is considered the second marine vortex in the world. This is enough to convince us that it is dangerous for Norway, being close to the Arctic Circle. For times a day the large changers push the water currents through the relatively small channel, forming a vortex that reaches at a speed of up to 40 km per hour. Ships passing through the channel can only do so in the short window where the vortex is not active. The next strange phenomenon we will explore is the tornado-looking marine tornado. Have you heard of tornadoes? They are just that they do not occur over land but over water, are intense spiral-shaped columns of water that generally occur in the tropics and in tropical areas, are created when there are differences in the atmospheric dynamics in or around storm clouds. The vast majority of these trumpets are harmless, but some are characterized by strong lightning and even hail, so if you are planning a trip to the area, take a raincoat with you. Okay, so when they don't get gigantic, the waves are generally an occasion of joy and fun. For the little people they can be useful if we want to score, and the biggest ones are due to surfers. Not to mention the relaxing sound of the waves is the perfect background noise while you plan to have a day at the beach with family or friends talking about ocean weirdness. What is called square waves, and that's for obvious reasons. Look a little at this picture. When you look from above, instead of forming parallel lines like we do most waves, these unusual waves form a kind of checkerboard. After all, what is the thing about how do normal waves appear? Well, they are not just a result of some combination of the gravitational force of the sun and the moon. The waves at your local beach seem to be in the winds in the area. Each builds up at the surface of the water, sending rotating cascades of water towards the shore sometimes, but an unusual wind pattern or a very strong storm pushes the water so much that the waves reach the distances of such a sea can be seen near the Red Island in France. Thousands of tourists storm the beaches to witness this strange phenomenon. However, they do not bring their bathing suits. The square waves that can reach heights of 3 m are known to be quite dangerous and can even capsize boats, and we have small n being very unpredictable. Many shipwrecks seem to have been caused by keep talking enough about many marine and oceanic phenomena, which they are caused by tides and tidal currents. But what are currents after all? High currents here. High currents here, they are generally stronger in areas where the water depth is relatively shallow, where a wide range of tides occurs, and where the speed of currents is amplified by the narrowing effect of the section in the local elbow area. Practically they are carried away by the tide. They retreat from the beach towards the sea. Usually when a swimmer is caught in the current of the sea, the one who moves away from the beach has the reflex signed against the current and towards the shore. So this is not an indicated thing, because in general rip currents are much stronger even than Michael Phelps, a professional swimmer. The fastest rip currents here can pull you out to sea 2–4 meters per second. So what exactly should you do when caught in a rip current? Swim parallel with the current going left or right. Generally high currents here somewhere up to 30 m, so let them carry you to the end of them, then start swimming instead towards the shore, but in a parallel zone. According to the Lifeguard Association of America, more than 80% of rescues are tsunamis. Next on the list, the name alone can send shivers down the spine of those living in the Pacific Ring of Fire. These monstrous waves often reach up to 33 m high, generally be taller than killer waves, which we were talking about at the beginning. Here is how it is formed. When an underwater volcanic eruption or an earthquake occurs, they generate huge amounts of energy, somehow make their way to the surface, causing huge displacements of water. The resulting tsunami then takes it to rush towards the unlucky enough shores at speeds of up to 800 km per hour. This causes the wave to slow down but increase greatly in height, hence gigantic tsunami waves appear almost out of the blue, and be careful, they get even worse from this point. Their mega tsunamis occur when large objects fall into the water or near the water, such as a meteorite. The waves of a mega tsunami can reach an incredible height of 300 meters. Of course, even these heights seem like child's play compared to the waves that appeared after a landslide in Lituya Bay. The waves of the tsunami that followed reached a height of 570 meters. Luckily for us, tsunamis appear about once every 10 years and extremely rarely get that big. These are the most dangerous ocean phenomena that I have found.